things. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Mastering Business Continuity and Disaster Recovery webinar. Based on the sign-ups, we're absolutely delighted to welcome attendees from across the UK. And it appears that we seem to be representing every industry sector. So there's a whole variation on different use cases, I think, that we're seeing as part of what we're looking to talk about today. For those who don't know me, my name is Gavin Lee. I'm Head of Sales and Managed Services here at Concorde. As part of my day-to-day role, I work closely with our key partners like Datto and the Concorde technical team to aid in packaging services that are designed specifically to help our clients in their day-to-day IT operations. We've worked with Datto for around 3 years now. We shared lots and lots of success with them, and we share a collective goal to help our clients protect critical data, reduce cyber risk, and ensure system availability and reliability. So I'm joined today by German Cancino, a solutions specialist in the business continuity and disaster recovery space, and German will be delivering most of the content for today. I'm also joined by Wouter. Wouter manages the relationship between Conco and Datto. He'll be running the Q&A, and Hannah Hammond, Concorde's head of marketing, and she's ultimately been instrumental in setting up today's webinar. So just in setting the scene on the relationship with Concorde and Datto, Datto's technology is a key component of Concorde's MirrorVAULT services portfolio, and MirrorVAULT is one of 6 core service identities that form part of Concorde's modular services framework. MirrorVAULT was designed specifically to provide simple but effective mechanism to protect data across a broad set of operating scenarios. So that's covering on-prem workloads, public cloud, SaaS workloads, and ultimately we strive to provide backup, business continuity and disaster recovery services through the MirrorVAULT services portfolio. I mentioned it's one of 6 because MirrorVAULT is accompanied by Guardian, which is a suite of services that we've designed to reduce user exposure to risk. Sentry, our firewall and network protection services. Communicator, which provides telephony and connectivity services. Flex Cloud, which is our public cloud and SaaS service offerings. And Overwatch, which is our full stack detection and response, security incident and event management, and security operations service. For 40 years, Concorde has put service at the heart of our business. We've helped many organizations with services which are designed to extend the operational capability of their own internal IT teams and enable them to divert resource into innovation projects, which ultimately allows them to maximize the return from the tools that we've built into our service stack. At present, we are seeing increased levels of cyber risk, tighter regulatory standards, and increased complexity in supporting multi-cloud operations. So it's really important for organizations that organizations are armed with the right level of information to aid forward strategies. So for today, German will talk you through various operating scenarios in turn demonstrate the effectiveness of the MirrorVAULT BCDR service. And we're absolutely confident that you'll leave today with a broader understanding of how you can mitigate risk within your own organization and ultimately maximize system availability. I'm going to hand over to German now. We'll open up the Q&A and we'd welcome any questions during the presentation and also after German's presentation. Right to remind everyone as well that we're recording the webinar. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking time out of your day to attend this webinar. Over to you, German.
Thank you very much, my friends. So hello to everyone. My name is German Cancino. I'm the continuity specialist here in Casella. And also I'm a cloud architect in Microsoft Azure. So I really love to push some buttons. So the idea for today is to have a live television show where we're going to see one very kind of rock star of the solutions that we have that is part of the ecosystem of Concorde, which is Datto series, which is a BCDR option, which is one step further than backup, because one thing is backup, another thing is BCDR. So this solution is going to give you, as Gavin was saying, something that is sometimes forgotten, because everybody speaks and talk about security. Security here, security there, security here, security there. We know when we're a company consolidated like Concord, like Kaseya, like Datto, like Azure, like Microsoft, like AWS, etc., security is a must. Security, we have to be secure unless you're going to be out of business really quick. So that's a given. But another thing is availability. Okay. So data availability is the thing that is going to be the difference when we're talking about this concept for data manager. Okay. So I'm going to start this concept, this live television, with a very quick PowerPoint to put this solution high level. And then I'm going to recreate a scenario and demonstrate with the demo how Series is going to protect your data during a disaster. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and please somebody let me know when you can see my screen. And of course, this is live television, so anything could happen. This is always the most difficult part of the demo, sharing the screen. Please, my friend, let me know if this works. Bum, bum, bum.
Success, German.
Yep, all good.
All good.
Perfect. So far, so good. Okay, doke. So the purpose of this first slide is to clearly illustrate that everything that we develop here in Datto Kaseya is going to be in alignment and concordance with the cybersecurity framework NIST. And that cybersecurity framework has these 5 main pillars. And today we're going to be focusing in this pillar, recover, with this option, series, which is a BCDR option. So let's go that definitions. I'm going to, this next part is just to unify the concepts, okay? Because during the presentation, I'm going to be very precise every time that I use these words. So what's the difference between backup and BCDR then? Backup is just copying the data from point A to point B. That's a backup, which is not the same as BCDR, okay? Because BCDR is not the name of a product. It's a policy for data management, okay? So what is that policy? What is BCDR? So as a word, it's an acronym, and the first part stands for business continuity. And to me, this is the key word, during. To understand what is business continuity, basically, we need to answer the question of what are we going to do during a disaster? So during a disaster, you need to be able to continue working, minimizing the downtime. As Gavin was saying, data availability is the key. It's not only security, it's about availability. Why is so important that? As I always say to all my friends, more than customers, because everybody's my friend now. Data security, if you want to have your data really secure, like really secure, put everything under your bed. It's going to be really secure. But what about availability? You see, that's the key. You have to have your data secure, but also available to minimize the downtime. That's a key concept regarding data management, which is RTO, recovery time objective. How quickly we need to be up and running during a disaster. And that is the key, business continuity. And the second part of the acronym is disaster recovery. Probably I'm going to be a little bit academic, if you want. Some guy would say, what a pedantic guy. Disaster recovery is not the same as business continuity. And I know that cross industry, most of the time we use these two words kind of as if it was a synonym. Okay, it is not a synonym. Disaster recovery is what are we going to do after a disaster? So how are we going to restore or to recover the Delta data or the infrastructure that was created or deployed during the disaster. Okay, so we have three very different concepts for data management: backup, business continuity, and disaster recovery. When you have a BCDR option, backup is always a subset of the BCDR. So in that sense, if you have BCDR, do you have backup? Yes. But the most important part is this one, business continuity. Why is that important? Because if you only have backup, okay, and let's say that the backup option that you have has the option to do a bare metal restore, which is recovering the full infrastructure, okay? Okay, you have backup and you have disaster recovery, of course, because bare metal restore is a disaster recovery option. But how quickly you're going to be up and running could be days. With business continuity, how quickly you could be up and running, hours. That's the difference. The recovery time objective. So if you have machines that you cannot afford huge downtimes, I'm talking about 1 hour downtime, because let's remember, downtime is not that, the machine is not working. No, that's not the right way to see downtime. Downtime means I'm losing money. Okay, that's the reality. When you have downtime, you're losing money. So how much money do you want to lose? That's the key question, okay? With business continuity, we diminish that time, okay? Any questions so far, my friends? Remember, just shoot or just put in the chat and we are going to answer. Now, we have these three concepts: backup, business continuity, and disaster recovery. And with Datto series, these three options works in tandem. My friend Wouter, do you have any questions written yet, or nobody has any questions so far?
So far, all good.
Perfect. I don't know if that means that I'm very clear or nobody wants to ask anything. Okay, I
Very
hope that I'm very
precise.
clear.
Very precise.
Okay, doc. So this is series. I'm going to be very high level with this. I'm not going to go into the rabbit hole. However, if somebody has a question, please shoot. Okay. So this is how it works series. Here we have our live environment, could be physical machines or could be virtual machines. And we're going to deploy an agent where we're going to pull a full snapshot. Okay, that snapshot is going to take changes at the block level. So delta data, minimum changes. That's incremental backup. And those snapshots are going to be stored here in the series appliance. This is a Dell hardware which runs our software series. And this is going to be on premises, okay, connected to the LAN. Okay, and from there, we're going to be sending the data to our own data centers that we have in Europe. Okay, in Europe, actually, we have 3 data centers. One is in the UK, the other one is in Germany, and we're going to see another one here in a minute. Okay, so basically, as I always say, we have the option for GDPR for data residency, if you want to be in the UK, or if you have customers that need to be in the continental Europe zone, Eurozone, for example. Okay, so as I always say, we have the Brexit, non-Brexit option regarding data residency. Now, to store the data in our cloud, we have flavors to store the data regarding time. Your data could be 1 year, 7 year, or infinite cloud. And this is an advantage for you, my friends, because we do not charge, for example, for data storage in the cloud. Data growth in the cloud is always transparent with this service, okay, with any BCDR option. Why? Because we always offer one concept that is also forgotten: simplicity. We want to keep this really simple for everyone. So the fee is going to be related to the amount of time that you keep your data in the cloud, not to the amount of data in the cloud. And that's a huge advantage, because probably we are the only ones in the market that we are under this kind of policy, okay, that we do not care about data growth in the cloud, okay. And this is the other data center that we have in Europe, the third one in Iceland. where you just going to put on off to the button. It's not an add-on extra cost. No, it's part of the service, and you can send your data to our data center in Iceland if you want to have an extra layer for data security. Everything that I'm going to show you in this presentation is included in the service. There's no hidden costs, extra thingies, etc. Sorry about these pop-ups that you're going to be seeing over and over again, but I'm bombarded 24/7, okay? But this is live television, so those are the commercials and another one. Okay, those are the sponsors. So this data center is used to store the data, okay? And before you ask me, as I always say, this data center is far away from the volcanoes in Iceland, so no problem. Now, part of the series concept for data management for the series world, we have this, which is the round trip. What is this? It's a physical way to move the data from on-premises to the cloud. Let's imagine that you have a huge amount of data here. Let's say 5 terabytes. Okay, 5, 10 terabytes. Let's remember that from here to the series appliance, we have the LAN, so no problem. But from here to here could be a challenge if on premises we do not have a very powerful internet. So for those scenarios, we have this option, which is a physical way to move the data. So how do we do that? We send a NAS, for example, to on premises, and in here, you put the data into the NAS, you send it back to the cloud, and here the Datto Cloud team is going to make the backup chains. So the next data set that is going to be sent from on-premises to the cloud is going to be an incremental backup. So it's not going to be those 10 terabytes. It's going to be just the difference created, probably 10 meg, 1 gig, something like that, okay? And sort it out. Now, features in series. In series, we have a lot of features, okay? But to me, these are always the kind of the top that I always want to share at this point of the presentation. So the screenshot verification, application verification, and ransomware detection. These three features are really cool because at the end of the day, it's automation, okay? For example, screenshot verification, what is that? It's an automatic business continuity testing scenario that we have, okay? So automatically, we are going to boot a machine here. And once the machine is up and running, we are going to take a picture of the machine, of the starting screen of the machine, and we're going to display that in the GUI of the solution as evidence that the recovery points are working at the end of the day. Because one thing is having the solution. Okay, perfect. I see a lot of buttons, lights, dragons go up, serpents go down, etc. Yeah, it looks really sexy, but is it working? Well, this answered that question. The screenshot verification is going to give you evidence that the solution is working, okay? And not only that, we can check for applications inside of the machine, okay? So for example, in my demo that we're going to see, I have a SQL Server, and during the screenshot verification, I'm also checking that the SQL Server is up and running, okay? And ransomware detection. We're going to be sniffing every single recovery point to check that there's no ransomware activated, okay? So this is ransomware detection, not protection. If you want ransomware protection, we have several solutions that I'm pretty sure that Gavin could give you all the information if needed, okay? Now, so far, anyone has any question that would like to share now? Oh, everything is fine?
Everything's good.
Oh, kiddo, thank you. That's the idea. If somebody has a question, please just shoot, okay? This is live television. Oh, kiddo, so far, as you can see here, this is a very cool, robust, and beautiful backup architecture because we are copying the data from here to here to here and to here if you want. But let's remember, this is BCDR. So what do I mean with that? Let's imagine this. These machines are down for any reason. Somebody spilled a coffee, ransomware, virus, whatever. These machines are down. So what can we do if these machines are down? We can really quick virtualize here. Okay, and that is the business continuity option on premises. So if this machine is gone because ransomware, we can virtualize here and continue working. Cool. But now let's go for a more aggressive scenario. I love this part. Let's imagine that this is down and this is down. Imagine something really terrible. Fire, flood, or my favorite scenario, King Kong, Godzilla, and UFOs. Everything is down. What can we do in those scenarios? We can virtualize here in Datto Cloud really quick, okay? Another advantage for you, my friends, is that we do not charge for data growth in the cloud, but also we do not charge for virtualization in the cloud. So this part is also included in the service. So basically, series is data protection, data availability, all you can eat 24/7. Okay, all inclusive, all you can eat, and that's a beautiful part of the solution. Why? Because we need peace of mind. We need to be worry-free about the, oh, my goodness, I'm running in Datto Cloud after a disaster, my fee is going to increase. No, no, my friend. You have another things to be worried about. You need to be worried about this part. Get ready to fix your environment. Do not worry about this. We are covering you. Don't worry, my friend. You see, that's the main advantage with us. We are partners, we are friends, we are family. I'm going to do it about, I'm going to do it. We are family. Okay, so we have these two options for business continuity. Okay. But then again, you may say, okay, German, I'm running here for, let's say, 1 week, and now these machines are up again. How I will do the disaster recovery? Okay. We have several options here. You could do a bare metal restore, image export, etc. Several techniques. But from here, let's imagine the King Kong scenario, and you were working, let's say, 1 month in Datto Cloud. Okay. Your fee is not going to go up, but probably the thing that is going to go up is going to be the Delta data, the new data that you're going to create whilst working in the cloud. Okie doke. So again, let's imagine that we have 10 terabyte plus new data, 11 terabyte. Your machines are up again, but our internet is not that powerful. What can we do? So for those scenarios, we have this reverse round trip. What is that? The same as this one, but the other way around. We're going to put all the data here, the infrastructure, send it on premise using an NAS. And once the data is here, with the help of support, we're going to leave the environment brand new. And this is the beauty of this solution. It's a 360 degrees data protection that definitely is going to improve your data resilience. Any questions before pushing some buttons, my friends?
No questions. All good.
Cool. Let's rock and roll. Okie doke. So let's go for my demo environment. Here, from one pane of glass, I have all my BCDR options. Okay, let's remember, BCDR is not the name of a policy. Sorry, it's the name of a policy. It's not the name of a product. Okay, so here I have my SQL with my machine German. I'm not very creative with the names. Sorry about that. So this machine German is my machine. Okay, but for demo purposes, it's really clear. And I have another one here for Connor, Daniel, and Susie, some friends in the team. So here I have the solutions. For example, if I want to check the integrity of the recovery points for these machines, I just do this. You see, that's the screenshot verification. It's the peace of mind that everything is working. Okay. And what's the beauty again? That is at the agent level. So these machines has different configurations than this machine, for example, than the SQL. So, for example, you see here, this backup is every 30 minutes, but mine is hourly. You see, so depending the criticality of the machine, we're going to have different recovery points objective. Okay. Let's play a little bit with my German SQL. My SQL is down. let's virtualize really quick in the appliance because I lost the SQL because of ransomware. Let's virtualize. I'm going to go here. I'm connecting to the appliance. Okay, everything is remote. Okay, let's put my appliance is in Amsterdam, and my full demo environment is in Amsterdam, and I'm based in London. So here is my machine. So let me show you some very cool tricks that we could give here. So here, for example, I have the full view of the recovery points. Remember, it's hourly snapshots, so hourly backups if you want. I'm verifying. I'm sending everything to the cloud, and this is the screenshot verification. You see, the SQL is cool, all the services that I added for demo purposes, and on top of that, I'm running a script. What is doing that? I'm checking a specific SQL table inside of the SQL server. So let's say that I have a very important data that I want to check inside of SQL, I can do it with this. And I have all the, you see, all the screenshots here. Again, peace of mind. And of course, you can receive this information daily using a report that we have embedded in data series. Okay, let's virtualize now really quick. Select the machine. Here I have several options for data management, okay? But for this demo, I'm going to virtualization in the appliance. I select the recovery point. Remember, I have hourly backup, so I have a lot of options. But I'm going to go with the latest and restore. Here I have options to give some computing power, etc., connectivity to the machine. And this is the button that comes click by default, which is at the end of the day, do I want to take backups of the machine that I'm creating? Yes or no? Because this is a demo, it's not necessary. And start the SQL, please. That easy, that simple, and that quick. So again, the downtime that you're going to have is going to be minimum. Translating that into layman terms, the amount of money that you may lose is going to be minimum because the downtime is going to be diminished. And here's my machine starting in the appliance. That is the option for the local virtualization of the machines in series. Okay. Now, let's go for the other scenario. I'm going to stop this machine. Let's go for the King Kong scenario. Okay. Remember, everything is down on premises, everything. Okay. It's a King Kong scenario. So I cannot go the road connecting to the appliance. I cannot do local virtualization because everything is gone. So what can I do? I can use Datto Cloud. So now I'm connecting to Datto Cloud. Okay, and here in Datto Cloud, I have three options for data management. I could do a file restore if I want to recover something really granular. Let's say an Excel, a PowerPoint, a table from SQL. I could do it from here. Virtualization, which is the road that we're going to follow, which is the option to virtualize in Datto Cloud, the business continuity part in the cloud. And image export is an option to manage every recovery point as a virtual disk. So it could be a really cool trick to do data migration from point A to point B, for example, or to do a full failback. If you have a small machine, you could do this. Okay, let's go this road, virtualization. I'm going to start the virtualization really quick. Boom, click there. Again, remember my strategy. I'm taking hourly snapshots and sending every single snapshot to the cloud. So I have a lot of recovery points here as well, from previous days as well. So, but for the demo, I'm going to go with the latest. Select my machine. Here I have options for computing power, okay? To give to the machine that I'm going to create in the cloud. If I need more computing power, can we deliver? Yes, okay? And here's the option for connectivity. So I could have a network created, pre-cooked, or create one on the spot. Let's create one specifically for this webinar. Network name, let's put webinar top network. I'm not very creative with the names, but I think for the demo, this could rock and roll. We're going to pull up some network addresses from Datto Cloud. These are really standard numbers, so nothing to get crazy about. Okay, you see? Nothing to get crazy. And then we enable DHCP, and this is important because we work with dynamic IPs in Datto Cloud. And this is the option for site-to-site VPN connectivity that I'm going to show in a moment. So I'm going to create a network. And when I click here, it's going to start the virtualization. But before clicking here, let me show you one trick that is really cool regarding this option, okay? Let's imagine this scenario. Let's say that you have a hypervisor, okay, with, let's say, 10 virtual machines. Okay, 10 virtual machines. And the hypervisor is down because ransomware. Oof, you lost everything. Okay, it's not a King Kong scenario, so Series, the appliance, is still alive. So what can we do? What I would do is to locally virtualize just the 2 top critical machines in the appliance, and the other 8, let's imagine that this is one of the 8. I go to the cloud, but instead of creating a network, I just go here and click here. So what is happening? I'm going to virtualize this machine in Datto Cloud, but connected to your LAN with just one click. So at the end of the day, this one click is a VPN connected straightforward to your LAN using the same tunnel that connects Series to Datto Cloud. It's really cool because a lot of customers are doing that kind of a scenario to kind of have more computing power available in the Series appliance. That's one option that a lot of customers are doing. Now for the demo, I'm going to connect directly to the network. Okay. And create VM. Again, that easy, that simple, that quick. And I always say, it's a lot of fun. I love to do this demo. Okay, so here is my machine, and I'm going to power on this guy. And whilst this is starting, this is a small machine, so it's going to take somewhere around 30 seconds. If you have a huge machine, it could take, I don't know, 5 minutes, okay? Now, I'm going to show you some connectivity options whilst this guy is starting. Okay, here I have my network. And here I have options to connect to this machine once it's up and running in Datto Cloud. So we have the option to site, port forwarding, and client VPN. So what are these options? I'm going to keep it really simple. So site-to-site VPN, if I want to enable this kind of connectivity, I have 2 options. The site-to-site VPN traditional, or the new way, which is the Datto way using Secure Edge, which is everything cloud-based. How quickly is this? We go here, select which one are we going to use. Let's say this one, and then click connect. Probably I'm going to have an error because I don't have credentials for this. Cool, now I have it. That simple, that easy, and that quick. Now we are connected to this firewall with just one click. Okay, that's again, really cool when we're talking about diminishing the recovery time objective. Okay, but then you may say, German, you know what, my friend? I really don't want to create a site-to-site VPN, but I would like to keep it simple, port 80 for my web application. Okay, so we go here. We get the internal IP of the machine. This is done by the Concorde team. Okay, so don't worry about that. And then we put here port 80. And we click save. Click, and it's going to be open the port 80 and assign a public IP. If I click save now, I'm going to have an error because this is not the internal IP of the machine. This is something that it needs to be done, and it takes somewhere around 2 minutes. And another option, because you could say, no, you know what? I really don't want to have a site-to-site VPN. I don't want to open any port, but I would like to give connectivity to just 2 guys or 3 guys. Okay, let's give connectivity to this machine to just 3 guys. We go here. we put a name to the keys that we're going to create for this purpose. So let's use guys, because we're going to connect 3 guys, and click add. And now are created 3 keys to connect 3 guys. You see, that easy, that simple, and that quick. Now we're going to check MySQL that should be up and running in Datto Cloud. Pam, pam, pam. Ba-da-da-dum, pam, 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 pam. Here it is, my machine. Ta-da! Virtualized, up and running in Datto Cloud. Remember, RTO is going to be at bay. Okay, we are controlling the recovery time objective. Now, before finishing the demo, I'm going to show you the last trick, which is really, really cool. I really love this part of the demo. it's really fun. Okay, let me delete this machine. Okay. So this is the scenario. It's a King Kong scenario. Everything is down. So what can we do? We open the portal. We go to this part. But instead of taking this road, the road that I just demoed, we can go here, select the machine in the history, and we just click clone. How cool is that? It's one-click business continuity, diminishing your RTO more. And again, this is just one machine, okay? Because we have this option here, which is the DR wizard. And when you click here, you can onboard several machines. So you could create a DR plan, you click here and you do macro deployments. Again, diminishing your recovery time objective. And this is the beauty of series. Very friendly, very easy to use. But don't get me wrong, under the hood is a very robust technology that is not going to only give you data security, it's going to give you data availability. Any further questions, my friends? Any thoughts? Any complaints?
All good. You explained that very well, very thorough.
Okay, I hope you like it, my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you, German. It's always great to see you, and the way in which you do these presentations, it's always full of energy, highly entertaining. It is a lot to take in, and there are a number of questions that you guys are probably asking yourself, as part of your interpretation of what German's saying. And we often look at these in the sense of identifying ways in which that your understanding of your current strategy and how it caters for the diverse range of services that you're running. We see lots of people looking at their own experiences when it comes to recovery and restoring systems, and also as well the assessment of the challenges that people have in meeting regulatory and governance requirements. But quite a lot of the time, we see a general lack in the testing of the effectiveness of strategy, whether or not they align to recovery time objectives. And it's just like anything in the technology space, all these kind of solutions, constant watering and feeding, in terms of maximizing the value that you achieve from services of this nature. What we generally see is that when you process all these questions, it's really about understanding and introducing the right BCDR strategy, that takes away any doubt and helps you sort of mitigate against the financial and reputational risk that can be caused by a breach or any other scenario that requires you to execute that business continuity plan. And certainly from what German's demonstrated today, MirrorVAULT services powered by Datto BCDR is really, really effective in mitigating that risk. Yeah, my final thoughts on this are ultimately I'd like to, thank everybody again for taking time out of the,
We have
the
some
day.
questions in the chat, my friend, that I would like
There's
to
some.
answer.
Oh yeah, I was just going to
Yep.
come to that.
Okay.
There's an opportunity now to fire in any questions, and we can utilize some of the rest of the time to cover them off.
Cool.
So the first one, German. How does this solution do BCDR with cloud-based solutions? To be
Okay.
more precise, let's say SharePoint or OneDrive.
Okay, that's a very good question. First, let's remember that BCDR is business continuity. Okay, so SharePoint and OneDrive is going to be protected under backup policies with a solution that we have, which is called SaaS protection. So can we cover SharePoint and OneDrive? Yes, but it's going to be under backup policy. Okay. Now, second question, with regards to the backup, what are the, okay. With regards to the backup, does it take over your normal backup, say for a daily incremental file application, or is it only for VM snapshot as part of the BCDR process? That's a very good question. Let's remember that BCDR per se, it's a backup as a first stage. Okay, so if you're covering a VM, you are going to have the first one as a full backup, and then it's going to be incremental forever. Okay, so what I would do if you just need backup and not BCDR, I would go for another solution. This solution is going to diminish your recovery time objective. So the first step, the first approach would be to define the criticality of the machine. For critical machines, series, yes or yes. If that machine is not that critical, let's say it's just a file server with all the stuff, kind of archiving, backup, okay? What are the best practices to follow BCDR? Kind of what I said, do a tiering regarding machines, okay? Criticality of the machines. That's to me, the starting point of a best practice regarding BCDR. How critical is the machine that you want to diminish that recovery time objective? Using backup or using BCDR, in both scenarios, your data is going to be protected. Yes, the difference is the recovery time objective. Would this solution work with VM hosted in Azure? This one, no, but remember, BCDR is a policy for data management. So we have another options that Concorde also has, which is Datto backup for Microsoft Azure, which is a BCDR option, specifically designed to cover Azure virtual machines. Okay, it's the same technology, same portal, same look and feel. The only difference is there is no appliance in the middle because it's cloud to cloud, but you have the same advantages like series. What hypervisors are supported? VMware and Hyper-V, both, because we work at the VM level. That's important. We deploy the agent at the VM level. Good questions. Please continue shooting. That's the beauty of live television. No more questions? Okay. If you have any further question, just send it to Gavin, and we can always jump into a call, specific demos, etc. Let's remember that. If you have any question, I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you, can.
We've got another one coming through. German Paul asks, if you have multiple premises, would you require multiple setups?
That's a fantastic question. So the ideal architecture is in on-premises connected to the LAN, okay? But we have another BCDR options that Concorde also has, which is BCDR direct to cloud, skipping the appliance. So if you have, let's say, one office in Edinburgh, another office in London, and you have two critical machines, let's say 200 gigabytes of data, we could use that solution and go direct to the cloud with BCDR capabilities. What's the difference? You're skipping the appliance.
Good. I think it's certainly, through working with the guys at Datto for 3 years now, we've seen a diverse range of offerings within the portfolio, and there's a lot of different operating scenarios that we can protect against. So what I'd welcome anybody who's attended today, if they've got any, your customer relationship team at Concorde, will obviously be on hand to follow up on any future demonstrations or any inquiries in relation to the service. It'd also be worth as well keeping an eye out for future Concorde events. we will be running a series of webinars as we move into next year. But our core priority is building out, or preparing for our in-person event at Wakefield Trinity Rugby League Football Club, and that's on the 18th of November. So that's going to be focusing on cybersecurity and AI. And if any of you guys have been to our previous events, they're a great opportunity to network, learn more about the partners that underpin our core services. And we have a fantastic guest speaker as well this time round, really sort of well-known BBC journalist. So it's we thought last year was scary. This one's going to be even better.
I was answering another question, but I answered in the chat.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
no,
well, Jem, if you want to,
no, somebody asked if you could run multiple appliances in that scenario. Yes, you can have one appliance in London, one appliance in Edinburgh. So you have both options. If the machine is really small and you don't need a local virtualization for ABC, you can go direct to cloud. If you need local virtualization, you could have multiple appliances.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, everybody, for attending today. German, you've done amazing. Really appreciate you. And wow, it's a good job with fielding the questions. Hannah, thanks again for putting this on. I know everything that goes into organising this. So thank you to you. And finally, thank you to everyone who's attended. And we'll end the call now. See you guys soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, my friends.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.